In this video, we take an in-depth look at Call from the Deep, an original third-party campaign for D&D 5e. Hi, Bob here, and welcome to Bob World Builder, the D&D channel where we improve our games together. Subscribe for new videos every Wednesday under your subscriptions tab. First, if you're just looking for a quick campaign summary, check out my preview in the cards and description. Now, an introduction from lead author JVC Perry.
Call from the Deep is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign that runs from level 1 to around level 12. It's an infusion of mystery, Lovecraftian horror and of course swashbuckling on high seas, and is set in the Forgotten Realms. I was inspired to write it after listening to Chris Perkins give some interviews in the run-up to Ghost of Saltmarsh about nautical themes, including the Kraken Society and Sahuagin. It also includes one of my favourite Dungeons & Dragons villains, Mind Flayers, although you'll have to get the adventure to see just how they work into the whole story.
While this is not a paid promotion, Perry sent me this complimentary copy, and right off the bat, let me tell you this thing is a beast. 270 pages covering tiers 1 through 3, so through levels 11 to 13 depending on how much your party actually explores and how many quests they complete. And this review covers a lot of that story, so spoilers. Alright, I really like the layout and formatting by JVC Perry because it is original and thematic to the campaign, and there are lots of collaborators on this project. Ken Carcass, Julia King, Gabriel Casada, who did the brilliant Mind Flayer cover art, and many more contributors who provided tons of great art pieces and clear, easy-to-read maps. Okay, the table of contents alone is 3.5 pages, and fortunately this is a smart doc, so you can click between sections pretty easily. We get a map of the Sword Coast for the sandbox portions of the campaign, a list of our 51 named characters, dozens and dozens of locations and quests for chapters 1 through 5, then 6 appendices, including over 50 random encounter types for 8 unique environments, 54 original creatures, 18 magic items, rules and random tables for ships, crews, and loot, 10 sample ships and crews, 6 sample ship maps, 11 player handouts, 4 new player races, and 11 nautical feats. That's a ton of material, and I'm going to show pieces of almost all of it, so check the timestamps in the description if you want to skip around the video. And if you're already sold on Call from the Deep, you can check out the full campaign or just the appendices through the affiliate links below to help me make better videos. The background. Githyanki crashed an Illithid Empire mothership on the Isle of Gundurlun in the Trackless Sea. The hyper-evil Elder Brain on board, Zelix 4, survived and superimposed themselves onto the mind of the Kraken Slarkrethel, with the help of his 4 surviving Mind Flayer attendants. Now, Zelix 4 is manipulating the Kraken's followers who command the deadly Black Armada to attack the major Sword Coast cities of Neverwinter, Baldur's Gate, and Waterdeep. In Chapter 1, which is about 30 pages and covers levels 1 through 5, the party starts off in Neverwinter on their final night before a voyage to Gundurlun, commissioned by Lord Daggalt Neverember, to investigate the mysterious crash. It's great that the adventure begins with some carousing before things go sour for the Sword Coast yet again. And this chapter introduces a number of NPC crew members with not only their general personalities, but details on how they behave in certain scenarios, and some fun quirks, like half-elf adventurer Quara Alessandra's penchant for gambling, and human messenger Stor Hornraven, who loves a good arm wrestle. The main encounters of Chapter 1 are a skill challenge to outsail a recurring pirate villain, Tiefling Captain Callus of the Devil's Fin, a decoy and ambush by Sahuagin raiders who got to the crash first, and the investigations through Gundurlun and the otherworldly crash site. Your party may explore in an abandoned mine inhabited by one of Zelix's Mind Flayer commanders and or a sunken ship with an undead wizard, and Chapter 1 includes DM tips and rules for hex crawling throughout the region. Chapter 2, The Black Armada, is about 30 pages and takes the party to level 7-ish, and I love this little disclaimer. Be warned, some of these encounters are designed to test the party's leadership and tactical skills, and characters who don't exercise some degree of caution will likely perish. Here, the party learns of the impending attacks on Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter, and Waterdeep, and this chapter provides excellent maps, lore, and details for about a dozen locations in each of these iconic cities. This information is great for any Forgotten Realms campaign, and particularly Waterdeep Dragon Heist, Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and of course, Baldur's Gate, Descent to Avernus, coming this September. As far as these Black Armada attacks go, you could of course only run one of them, or have them occur one after the other, so the party has a chance of saving all 3 cities. After the attacks, the party is presented with exploratory follow-up quests around the region that lead them into Chapter 3. To highlight one adventure location from Chapter 2, I'm a big fan of the Neverwinter House of Knowledge and its moon elf lore master, Alarthea Coronalis, who is actually enslaved by an aboleth living in the lower vaults. And I'm totally stealing that for the Grand Library in the major city of my homebrew setting. Again, Chapter 3, Scouring the Seas, is where the campaign becomes a sandbox around the Sword Coast and Island Kingdoms. It's 48 pages and describes the many peoples inhabiting the region and nearly 100 locations. Plenty more than your players will actually explore, so you definitely get to use many of these encounters in other campaigns. Chapter 4, Pirate Kings and Kraken Priests, is about 25 pages, and it's all about the top followers of the Kraken Slarkrethel. At this point, the party has located the Black Armada's admiral, Sea King Tentrix, in the ship graveyard known as Driftwood Docks. If they pass the navigation skill challenge to enter, the party will find Tentrix in his floating lair of 8 ships lashed together, defended by terrifying pirate lords. A Green Slod, Captain Scummer, a Spirit Naga, Desecratus Profanus, a Zahagan Baron, Dirge, a Frost Giant, Jarl Bluebeard, a human known as the Storm Maiden, and a small monkey who wears a tricorn hat and throws groundnut shells at pretty much anyone. Okay. The monkey is not one of the pirate lords, but it is in the dungeon, and I'm definitely putting it somewhere in my home game. After dispatching Tentrix, the party must travel to Purple Rocks, the headquarters of the other 2 Sea Kings and the 5 Deep Lord High Priests of the Kraken. These elders all know that something is up with Slarkrethel because their usual sacrifices have been less effective, and a couple mind flayers have been visiting lately. Now, this chapter does have a content warning because there's an option here to include several disturbing, sanity-threatening encounters, but by the end of the chapter, whether or not the characters have gone insane, they will have reached at least 10th level. Chapter 5, Ascarle, starts off with a bang. Zelix 4 and Slarkrethel, a 20th level spellcaster, wait in the ruins on the ocean floor, and this final confrontation can initiate as soon as the party arrives. However, this is no 4-round battle where the big bad evil guy dies before getting to use their coolest abilities. Throughout the battlefield, there are 5 entrances to the dungeons of Ascarle, an 89-room, half-illithid, half-elven fortress where the PCs or the Kraken can retreat if necessary. In any case, there are some contingency plans included. If Slarkrethel is about to be killed, Zelix 4 uses teleport to transport itself to Area 70, where its protective dome should keep it from harm. If Zelix 4 is about to be killed, it casts Plane Shift to travel to the Fractured Hand on the astral plane, an enormous stone hand of a dead god floating through the astral sea, guaranteed to create an interesting final encounter. And the conclusion explains that however things end, the Sword Coast will feel some repercussions from this campaign. Okay, here's a snippet of the random encounter table from Appendix A. Again, it contains over 50 encounter types for 8 environments, and this could be used for any campaign. And more than just the table, this section includes details for how the encounters can begin, treasure, and how to scale them for different levels of play. Appendix B contains 54 creatures, and I'm going to share some of my favorites. Captain Callus, the recurring side quest villain, because they have stats for 5 different challenge ratings, 1 for each chapter, so this pirate can be dropped into your campaign at any point in the first 3 tiers. Selenites, a roughly humanoid, coral-like creature made of hundreds of thousands of tiny organisms no larger than a pebble. Basically, some non-sci-fi nanobots that make for a great encounter. That silly monkey, and of course, the zombie dragon turtle, which is exactly as awesome as you think it is. From what I can tell, most of the 18 magic items in Appendix C are from other D&D books, but one that I think is original and that I really like is the Staff of the Eel, an uncommon staff that can turn into a giant lightning eel on command, though I'll probably make it a giant snake or something amphibious so it works on land too. Appendix D, Ships and Crews, contains rules for running ships, random tables, and sample ships, crews, and maps. I highly recommend checking out this appendix on DM's Guild if you're running any coastal campaign. And remember, you can use the affiliate links below to support the channel. The player handouts in Appendix E are great for sharing notes, maps, and puzzles, and Appendix F contains 4 player races, Merfolk, Zahagan, Seaspawn, and Aldani, as well as 11 seafaring feats, definitely traits that I will make available for my players, particularly the Spear Specialist and Netmaster, because those are 2 cool weapons that don't get enough love in 5e. For all the supplementary material, the detailed locations and encounters, the exciting and terrifying original story, I highly recommend Call from the Deep. Now check out the videos on your screen for more great D&D content. Thank you for watching, and keep building.